A couple years ago, I met with some Inuit elders on a Zoom call, and I was able to learn how to cut sealskin, how to work with it. I find it very healing and therapeutic. I like to use the red dress out of sealskin to represent my sister. My name is Vanessa Brousseau. I am an Inuk and Ojibwe woman. My mom comes from Sanikiluaq, Nunavut, and my dad comes from Matagami First Nation, Ontario. My mom had me when she was only 15 years old. By the time she had my sister, she was only 18 years old, and she woke up fully sterilized without her consent. And I remember her telling me as a teenager, how much that hurt her. I was a very young mom as well, but my life mission was to ensure that they didn't go into foster care. So I did everything I could. My youngest son would end up being drafted to the OHL. I've sacrificed quite a bit, but I think it was worth it all, and I would do it again. I loved being a hockey mom. My grandfather was taken by ship from Sanikiluaq, Nunavut, and placed in a sanatorium where they experimented on him, then didn't allow him to leave as he needed sheltered employment. He begged to be transferred to the Moose Factory Hospital, and he ended up being an X-ray technician for over 30 years. I didn't know my father until 6 months before my mom passed away. Ever since that day, my father and I have been inseparable. I've also gained siblings, which is probably the biggest gift because my one sibling's missing. My baby sister was in a domestic violent relationship, and when we reported her missing, the police told us that she's out drinking and will be back in a couple of days. Years later, there's been no closure, no success. It's like a living nightmare. I remember chasing somebody in the Toronto airport thinking, is this my sister?
I'm Derek Brousseau. I'm Vanessa Brousseau's husband. She never stops. From the moment she wakes up to the moment she goes to bed, she's always doing something good for other people and always creating awareness.
I started making videos about missing and murdered Indigenous women, girls, and Two-Spirit because I feel like it needs to have a perspective of a family member. I get messages all the time, where do I go? And I'm constantly trying to be helping people every single day. My mom was the president of the Friendship Center for over 20 years, and I've been taught a lot of teachings from the Treaty 9 elders, which is Cree and OG Cree, smudging, making ribbon skirts and drums and rattles. My mom would bring us to powwows in the bush, and you went in on a Friday and you came out on a Sunday, and there was no going in or out. You weren't allowed to have powwows back then. Growing up, I didn't have my Inuit culture, and that's what I've been doing a lot of decolonizing on, is learning who I am as an Inuk. One of my goals was to get a traditional Inuit drum. Thankfully, Elder David Serko decided that he would make me my first drum. It really means a lot knowing that this elder, believes in me.
If you put your mind to something, you can really make it happen. And she showed me that time and time again.
It's hard to pinpoint a proudest moment. I'm very proud of my children, the young men they've turned into. Also being married to my best friend and being verified on TikTok. That's my voice, having a space to share truth, to share knowledge, to share Indigenous culture thriving. I always get asked about the Indigenous youth, and I like that because that's what it's about. What I would tell them is believe in yourself. Stop waiting for someone else to believe in you. Nobody else could tell you who you are and who you aren't. I want Indigenous women to have a voice, to have their rights protected, and this is why I do all this, and it's something that I'm never gonna stop.